That afternoon, I typed out a sweet message to my husband, telling him how much I loved him and couldn't wait to hold him later that night. He replied instantly with his usual warmth. "I love you more than anything." The irony was cruel, because I wasn't alone in that bed. Another man, Daniel, had his arm wrapped around me, and yet I was playing the role of a loyal wife through words I didn't mean. It hadn't started with the intention of breaking my vows. At first, Daniel was just a friend who made me laugh when I felt lonely. My husband worked long hours, and our conversations at home became short, tired exchanges. I told myself I deserved more attention, and when Daniel offered it, I let him. One harmless coffee became secret lunches, and soon I was in over my head. The first time I crossed the line, guilt hit me like a wave. I swore it was a one-time mistake. But the thrill, the sense of being wanted again, pulled me back in. I convinced myself my husband didn't need to know, that I could balance both lives. But every time I texted him words of love, a part of me knew I was betraying him in the worst way. That day, lying next to Daniel while messaging my husband, I thought I was clever. I thought I was hiding well. What I didn't realize was that my husband had already begun to suspect. He noticed the way I smiled at my phone, the sudden late dinners with friends, and the way I avoided intimacy at home. He didn't confront me right away, he started quietly watching. Unknown to me, he began tracking my movements, checking bank transactions, even looking for inconsistencies in my stories. He loved me, but something inside him told him the truth was darker than my excuses. And when I sent that sweet message, he already knew where I really was. When I came home that night, I tried to act normal. I kissed him, set the table, and talked about my busy day. He sat across from me silently, his eyes heavy with something I couldn't name. His silence unsettled me, but I brushed it off as stress from work. Days passed, and his coldness grew. He stopped replying to my texts with warmth, stopped hugging me tightly at night. When I reached for him, he didn't reach back. I told myself it was a rough patch, but deep down, fear began to grow. Finally, one evening, he asked me a question that froze my blood. Who is he? My mind spun, searching for a lie, but his eyes told me he already knew. When I denied, he laid out the proof, screenshots of my location, credit card slips, and even photos of me and Daniel together. The room felt like it was collapsing on me. I begged. I cried. I told him it was meaningless, that I still loved him, that I could stop. But he wasn't fooled. He looked at me like I was a stranger, and in that moment, I realized the damage was beyond repair. He didn't scream. He didn't lash out. Instead, he spoke with heartbreaking calm. I gave you my trust, my love, and my life. You chose to break all of it. I can't stay married to someone who lies to my face. His voice cracked, but his resolve didn't. Within a week, papers were served. Seeing divorce written on those documents shattered me in ways I hadn't expected. I thought I could fix it, that our history would be enough to save us. But my betrayal had cut too deep. My husband wanted freedom from me more than he wanted reconciliation. Daniel, the man I risked everything for, quickly disappeared. He didn't want a woman with complications, with a marriage falling apart. I was left alone. No husband, no lover, just the silence of my choices echoing in the empty house. The divorce went through swiftly. My husband didn't fight or argue. He simply let me go. When I signed the final papers, I realized I had lost not only a marriage but the only man who ever truly loved me. His loyalty had been priceless, and I had thrown it away for cheap thrills. Now, every time I look back, I think of that one moment, the moment I texted him words of love while lying in another man's arms. That was the day I truly lost him. The divorce was just the final stamp on a mistake I'll regret for the rest of my life. I once had a husband who would have loved me forever, but because of my lies, now I live with nothing but the memory of what I destroyed. And that is a punishment I will carry longer than any divorce decree.